Oh, Vegas, don't you dare be sour. Clap for Unlikely with Adrian Hernandez and feel the power.
Yo, it's Unlikely with Adrian Hernandez here on location in Los Angeles because AEW Revolution is this Sunday. And of course, AEW Collision is going to be in Las Vegas next week. And joining us for a third time, the one and only one of the best wrestlers in the world, Swerve Strickland, plus the homie Montey is here. Fellas, how you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Peace, man. Everything's great, brother. Thank you for the invite, man. Thank you.
I can't believe I let you get me here like 3 times, bro.
Hey, we're blessed.
You must be doing something good, man.
Hey, we trying. This is the first time we've been able to do it in person. Also want to give a huge shout out to Bootleg Kev as we're doing this from his studios. And speaking of that, yo, Swerve, it's funny because the first time I interviewed you, you were on the hunt for your first AEW World Championship. Yeah. Second time I interviewed you, you were the current champion. Meanwhile, for me personally, I'm on this, we're about to hit 100K subscribers, and I want to say
congratulations.
The conversations that we've had, that's one of the reasons why. So first off, we like to give roses around here. So appreciate
you, man. Thank you.
And as we are here in Los Angeles, you know, you got a little bit of history here. Of course, you and AR Fox with Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Last time you were here with AEW, I believe you and Hangman Page did some things a little violent.
Yeah.
So what you got in store next?
It's crazy. That's 2 years ago now. And so like, that was where everything like switched and like everybody seen me in a different light. And I always say like the good guy to a wrestling audience is always the guys that are tough and that can keep getting up from getting beat down or sustaining punishment. And after the moment I stapled myself in the chest is where everybody was like, okay, this is a different type of cat we're dealing with. And that's what got me here pretty much. That's what got me to the World Championship. And that's what got me to the signing of the biggest lucrative deal in like, you know, the industry. All those things led up from kind of that moment. So LA, I owe a lot to LA for that. And the time before that with Lucha Underground, that's where everybody turned into like, oh, this is a different cat. And that's what got me to like the WWE. So all those moments literally stem from being in LA.
And salute to that, by the way, the moment that you stapled yourself, like I've been going to wrestling shows since I was a jit, and I promise you the atmosphere in that building when that happened, unlike anything I've ever seen before. Montey, I want to talk about everything you got going on. First and foremost, how's the podcast?
Oh, everything's great, man. Teezy's table's moving, bro. We just had Sarah J on there. Not so long ago, just interviewed, another.
Hold on, the legend, Sarah J, right?
Yes, the legend, Sarah J,
one and only,
the legend, Sarah J.
All caps.
Now on Teezy's Table now. Make sure you guys get that on all streaming platforms. But it's going good, man. You know, my podcast is more on like motivational, more personal in the spirit. So the conversation I like had with her, for example, you would think we'd be talking about something else, but it's really more about learning who she is. That there is an unedited version I'll put out one day.
Patreon.
That's for the Patreon.
That's Patreon.
There's definitely had some interesting conversations that's unedited, but the podcast is doing good, man. You know, I run my podcast really maybe like once every other month. Kind of like I like my content to kind of sit and kind of with motivational content sometimes and kind of be overload
for sure.
You know, so I kind of space out how I do it, but it's been moving. It's been going great, man. Thank you for asking.
No, of course, and we're gonna get into your music. Of course, you rap, you make hip hop music. And speaking of which, let's just address some rumors right now.
Yep.
Revolution at the Staples Center, Crypto.com Arena, whatever it's called now. It's still Staples. Is Kendrick popping out, yes or no?
Oh, I don't know.
Have you talked to Top Dog?
I don't know why you're talking to me about that. I'm worried about this match. Like, every time there's a hip hop rumor in the atmosphere, they go to Swerve about it. I'm like, I have no idea. If he pops out, that'd be great.
But I do have. You've had the moments.
I've had some folks. I've had like Ross. You know, I've had Bun come out, West Side. You know, like come out and represent. Fabulous even came out, and Kevin Gates and things like that. But those are just like, you know, like little situations and good relationships in between. Kendrick, I've never met the man. I don't really have a close thing with TDE and all like that. Actually, I am friends with Isaiah Rashad, so that's like the one. Shout out, like still one of my favorite albums. The House is Burning, one of my favorite albums.
Sylvia Demo, that's my favorite rapper.
Oh man, yes, he's tremendous. But that's like the only connection. And like little do people know, I was Isaiah Scott. I was Isaiah because of Isaiah Rashad in WWE.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So, and that's where we linked up and became cool. But that's the only connection I have, and I haven't spoken to him in a minute, but I have no connection with like Kendrick or any of the people coming out and all that. So if he pops out, he shows up, news to me too.
K. Dot, the invitation is there, and you just talked about some of the people that you brought out throughout the years. It's cool with Revolution because I think it's almost 3 years to the day, and I think it's 3 years to the week that you've signed with AEW.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've done a lot in those 3 years. If I have to pinpoint one moment in particular, what is the thing that you're most proud of with your body of work at AEW so far?
It has to be main event with Bryan Danielson at Wembley, because there's so many like small little nuggets and stories to just not before the match even starts. It's just before the moment of that match being made is you have Bryan Danielson's career on the line, talking about his kids. Brian's born in Aberdeen, Washington. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. So you got two Washington natives going like at it in the main event of Wembley Stadium. I'm the first black wrestler to ever main event the building, and I'm also the first black world champion to go after like all the greats like Will Ospreays and the MJFs and Kenny and all these great guys on these cards and Moxley and all them. I'm the only one. There's only been 4 people that main event Wembley. Adam Cole, MJF, Bryan Danielson, and myself. And that's before you get to Jericho. That's before you get to Moxley. That's before you get to like the greats that AEW has, like Copeland and all these like Joe and all these guys. Like my name is etched in history from that. So that's like before even the match starts. You got all these things you're looking at that you can honestly solidify and be proud of. And then that's when the bell rings. Now it's like you have you have to perform, and then that has to live up to all those accolades before it even starts. So it's a lot of like pressure, but I felt like no pressure. I was just so in the mode and like feeling. I just knew. That's one of the moments I just knew who I was. I was confident about myself. I was confident going into the match, and I was confident in the performance. And then like carrying on in a match with one of the greatest to ever do it, like a Bryan Danielson. Like that's also a load to carry because his injuries, his body and his neck was failing him and stuff like that. He was feeling tingles in his in his hands and his fingertips weeks before. So he was just concerned about certain things, and like so you have that weight to carry on, but just I'm blessed for the opportunity and be put in that spot. And then Tony Khan to even believe in me is like, this is what I'm doing and I'm not changing it. I believe in you, and to so much that I'm going to put the main event of 50,000 people in attendance coming in to pay and watch my pay-per-view and close it because I believe in you so much as a performer. And earlier that day, I did the signature for my new contract extension in the Queen's box, where like the Queen of England comes in and watches the soccer shows in the football games.
That's nuts.
And Tony chose to do it in this room for that specific reason, because that's where he goes and watches his Fulham games and stuff like that. So it was just a lot of things just adding up that went so like it just meant so much, and so the pressure was on, but I didn't really feel it. Then not on top of that, Bun B and West Side Gun rapping me out to the ring and stuff like that. It's just all these great things. So that was a lot to be proud of that night.
And that's just one, because one of my questions I did have is like, 3 years, I was like, let me try to bring this down to 3 matches. One, I'm going to be biased because I was in the building for when it comes to Forbidden Door with you and Ospreay. Like I see the Daniel Bryan one, I think for you, that means more just because you guys grew up in the same area. When it comes to Ospreay, that's the one that...
Classic.
All of the wrestling nerds wanted to see that. Yeah. And then, of course... the Hangman Page rivalry. We're talking about arguably the greatest wrestling rivalry like of the past 5-10 years, right? Yeah. So to you, like with those dynamics and those different things, was there ever a moment with any of those where, and I don't want to, I think it's cliche to say nervous, but did you feel any pressure of trying to meet the expectations?
In certain situations, like the All Out cage match was the one is like, all right, we've already like tipped the scale so much with Texas Death. It's like, there's no way to top that because you can't subvert the expectation because the expectations are already there. You know what I mean? The people already know what we can do. And at the time when we did Texas Death, people didn't know what we could do. So now when you have this set up, it's like, oh, we know what you can do. Do we get more blood? It's like, no, you can do.
Are we finally able to use a gun? Can we use a bullet?
Do we get the chainsaw out? Do we bring in like ammunition for this thing? It's like we didn't want to run that race of trying to like surpass what we did before. I'm like, no, let's give them a different feel. Like the Texas Death was more of like a shock and awe. This one, we wanted them to just feel uncomfortable. And that's another emotion that's different than just shock and awe of like, what are we witnessing? Oh my God, I can't take my eyes off of it. The cage match was like, oh, I can't watch. I feel tingling feelings in my body and my soul, and it was meant to do that because like
these guys accomplished it.
Yeah. It's like even if it's like this isn't wrestling anymore, I'm like, good, it's not supposed to be wrestling, it's unsanctioned. You're not supposed to feel like it is a wrestling match anymore. You're supposed to feel like it's something beyond wrestling and something that you like shouldn't take place in a wrestling ring. That was the point of that. That's why it did get so far into the syringe going through the cheek and all that stuff, because it's like it's not something that should be done. Therefore, we did do it. In all the podcasts like reaming us out for like, this is garbage, this is unsanitary, this is wrong, this is not the sanctity of wrestling. That's the point. That's, you know what I mean? This is good.
Never seen before.
Yeah.
Especially America mainstream. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And you talk about the syringe. I want to get to that for 1 second, but I do need to ask you, Montey, because you guys are very close, not just with the content that you guys create and just being friends. When you've talked to him, like let's go to the rival with Hangman. In the weeks leading up to these matches that they've had, like, is he just different? Is he more quiet? Because he's preparing for things we have never seen before. Crazy ass shit, for lack of a better term.
There's two kind of geniuses. There's outward geniuses, and then there's inward geniuses, kind of in a sense, where a lot of people, if they're more outward with their genius, they're more saying what they're going to do. They're going to cook up in that way and then kind of do it. Kind of, I would say, like a Mayweather personality. And then you have the people who like the artistry that he does, where it's more subtle, but you could tell he's cooking up. You know, when I talk to him, I'd be like, hey, man, what you do? He's like, oh, I got some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But he goes out and executes it, and he just flips a switch. He's one of them entertainers where he could be calm in his demeanor like this, but when that bell rings, it just switches. And that's the it factor that certain people don't have. You know what I mean? You can't really explain it. And no matter how many times I talk to him and what he is thinking in his mind, I know when that bell ring or when he starts cooking, it just clicks, and that's where the it factor comes in, and that's why he is where he is. Because when I was watching the whole rivalry, I'm like, I see what he's cooking up mentally. I see what he's doing, and a lot of times I don't ask no more because I like to just watch. And I've been around him so long and watched all of his matches from 2015 to now. So I've seen the growth in what he's done. So when I saw that rivalry and how it was cooking, I'm like, yeah, this guy, I call him a inward genius. It's more internal, but his genius is impeccable. Nobody's touching it right now.
No, it's incredible. Montez, when it comes to music, like what's going on with you?
Man, my new record, Stomp Out with La Russell's out right now. Produced by Kofi Cooks. Make sure you guys check that out. It has been a phenomenal, feedback and gain on everything that I've been doing. Shout out to La Russell for hooking me up with the feature. Shout out to his whole team, Good Penny, the whole team. Shout out to them. They are phenomenal people, and the record is doing good, man. I'm glad La Russell gave me that dope verse and killed it. And man, that's it, man. I'm gonna release my It Is What It Is project sometime in August, September. A little EP, a little something to keep the people fed. But right now, just focusing on promoting Stomp Out and promoting that record as big as it could be.
Oh, that's incredible. And Swerve, I want to ask you, in the conversations that we've had, I've asked you about your relationship with Bray Wyatt. And obviously you've paid homage with him with the ring gear. And the conversation we had, you were talking to me about kind of the patience in the storytelling because everyone wants it right now. I know that you've talked about how the Joker and some of these movie characters have played a part in your presentation and horror elements and different things that we haven't necessarily seen. The one thing I do want to ask you, though, is like who or what taught you to put so much care in your presentation? Because it's certainly one of the things that stands out.
It started with the ring psychology. At first, it was like Terry Taylor in NXT. He kind of like my mind was already working, but then he just working in a certain way. But when I got into his class and I got in the ring with him, he's the one that turned it, like my dial turned so much further, and he got me really thinking and touching base on who is doing what to so-and-so, why is doing what to so-and-so, what's the purpose, what's the motive, like how do you feel about what so-and-so did to so-and-so, about what so-and-so did, about to what, your body part, your mom, your partner, your wife, you're this, your significant other, like all these things. So that it just took that storytelling part and it went another level depth. And I was like, wow, I don't just have to apply that here in the ring. I can apply that everywhere. So I just started like really playing with that, and Tony Khan gave me the platform to just like, no, go play. And so I was just like, okay, cool. Let me wear this because so-and-so did that to me. That's why I wear this. Like, let me change this because so-and-so happened in my life. So therefore I wear this now. Instead of just coming out to just wear things or just coming out for music to have this because of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the podcast conversations led to the music conversations, which led to the in-ring conversation, which led to the promo conversation. All that kind of streamlined one to one to one to one to the next to the next to the next, and it started to become like a thread. I call it threading the needle with certain things, and it's like because a lot of people like to just one thing and then they're all separate things. I'm like, why can't that all just be one thing? And then I started finding influences that things I just loved growing up. And I took like little small things of like, I was a big Demolition Man fan with Wesley Snipes and like Sylvester Stallone. So I just like, that Simon Phoenix character is so incredibly like raw, dangerous, and you don't understand why, and you don't like really know where he's going to go, but you can't take your eyes off of him. So I was like, I like that. I'm gonna start colorful and go really bright with things. So I went there, and then that was like the NXT. But then when I got to AEW, the stage got bigger, the audience got bigger, the viewership got bigger at the time, and I was just like, wow, like, okay, I need to mature this character. What's the next evolution of where I'm going? And then I was like, let me go back to the Wesley Snipes core of what I built. And then I thought New Jack City. I was like, that feels like a more matured version. Like a Nino Brown, I'm in control. I have power. I'm a lot more adult, you know? And that's where the Mogul Embassy started coming from. That's where the leather jackets came from. And that's the why of, now it came from me stemming off from Keith Lee and things like that, you know? And then the Cinder Block became a thing from like hurting Keith Lee to now hurting Hangman Page with it. And then it became my demise when Hangman used it against me. So now it's like, okay, I got to transition again. So now it's more like, where am I at now? Where am I maturing to? Where's that evolution for where my character's going now? So that's threading the whole needle. If you notice, like Hangman took my grill out, haven't worn grill since. You know, he's defeated me before in the cage. Like I don't do the braids anymore. You know, so I'm going back to form to stage one because Hangman stripped all that from me from the cage. So there's little pieces of things that's once again threading that needle through all those things that you can catch if you like really watch.
And you're rewarding, and that's the thing that people love because you're rewarding viewers for paying attention. That's necessarily been the thing. That's all what we like care for so much. You know, that's what makes us like. That's what literally tells the story of the character's evolution, which takes them from low card to mid card to main eventer. Those small little details that the fans can literally follow and pinpoint exactly where they were. Like I knew exactly where he was when that happened, who he was facing. I knew exactly what city, what arena. I was there for this. And then this, I wore this shirt. This shirt doesn't work because now he's wearing this shirt and now this. And like, that's what made us fans. That's what made us believe. And that's what made us like want to dress up as these guys at conventions and Halloween and things like that, wear their pajamas and stuff, put them on our wall, all those little things. And I miss that. And so I wanted to just become that instead of waiting for somebody else to do it. Terry Taylor always said, somebody in this room is going to change the world in wrestling. Why can't it be you? And I was just like, I always took that to heart. I was like, oh, I'll take that challenge. I'll take that. I'll be that guy to do it. One day we're going to sit down and have the 2-hour Joe Rogan podcast and really go in depth with this.
I can go for hours about those kind of things.
It's a brilliant thing. We're going to close out. We're going to do a little bit of a speed round. Before we start the speed round, I just want to acknowledge, because there's going to be someone in the YouTube comments freaking out. As a gamer, shout out to the Mass Effect jacket. I know you've worn it before. I want to speak that into existence.
The Normandy.
Yes, shout out to that. Are you ready for the speed round?
Yeah, let's get it. I might need some help.
Yo, we might get a little spicy. Did you see the Cena heel turn, and what did you think?
It was cool. It was wild. It was great. I thought it was great.
Absolutely, same here, man. Long overdue.
Favorite swerve stomp you've done?
Probably the one to Ospreay on the announce table from the ring.
Bro, Please answer before I get into this. Hold on.
I have to agree. I'm not just saying that. I have to agree.
I didn't think I could do it, and then Osprey's like, "Oh, you good, mate? You can fucking do it, man." I'm like, okay.
The one he just did last week too. And the tag match was fire too.
And the one that you've done with like the 50 security guards. But hold on, the one with Forbidden Door. I'm glad you said that because I was like, bro, how did he not shatter his ankle? Where did you land?
On him. Like, that's the only way. I was like, I have nothing, no platform, so it has to be your chest.
That's that inward genius I'm talking about. It just clicks, man.
I was like, in the air, I'm like, I can make it, but where do I land this?
You landed on the cinder block. How long, not that you're ever going to be the same after something like that, how long until that wasn't the first thing you felt every time you woke up?
That was about a 2-week healing factor program. I needed some mutagen in me to really come back. Like, because after that, it took like a month and a half. I didn't come back till Wrestle Dream in Tacoma, and I still didn't even have a match till like maybe a couple weeks after that. So it was still like, let me get back to like rehabbing and chiropractor and some massage therapy and put some stones on me, put some suction cups on me.
I've seen my brother at his worst physically after some. I've seen my brother down and out, man.
Well, that was my question. What's the first thing you said to him?
Most of the time, I just try to just give him motivation and just keep him and just keep his morale up. Because sometimes he be so beat down from giving so much. You know what I mean? I've seen him with staples in his back. I've seen him.
I've had acupuncture the day of a match.
Yeah.
I've had stem therapy where like I'm getting shocked in my lower back, like with the. Like, just to revive me. Me and Darby are, like, big on that. Darby gets, like, dry needling all the time.
That's what I said, man. As entertainers, we have controlled craziness.
Yeah.
The things you guys do for our entertainment. Last round question. Is Kenny Omega the dream match in AEW that you want to have?
For me, I don't know. I look for the dream match. I look for the dream match that the people want to see have. That's where I think the dream matches come from. Not for me. But, like... I can tell when you have that moment where me and him are standing in the middle of the ring and nobody's around. It's just that face off. Then the people are finally seeing us like, oh man, are we getting it? That's when we know it's the dream match. So I let the people dictate and to tell us what a dream match truly is.
Montey, before we get out of here, anything you would like to plug, good sir?
Yes, man. April 12th, I will be walking out the legend, Rashad Evans. I just made his theme song. He's boxing Rampage Jackson in a boxing fight. Shout out to them. They're going to be in New Mexico, so I just made his theme song. I'm walking them out to the ring in an exclusive boxing fight, so I'm glad. I'm excited. Thank you to my brother Rashad for the opportunity, and sitting front row watching him, and my dog better win, man. He better win.
Swerve, as we close this out, I don't mean to be awkward and play both sides, but I do know that our next scheduled guest on Unlikely will be your opponent this Sunday at Revolution, Ricochet. Yeah. Is there something you want me to ask him? Is there a message you want to give Ricochet?
You're welcome for having me bring you up to my level somewhat. Just the challenge is accepted because I will rise again, and let's see if you can make it to that next level too. But welcome to All Elite Wrestling. Now you're elite. That's all I got to say.
Unlikely with Adrian Hernandez, Montez, Swerve Strickland. Thank you.